Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about whether meta setups matter or not. The age-old question that usually gets answered with, well, it depends. I'm going to talk about what it depends on, especially for casual guilds, like how much it matters for them, and also what you need to take into account when you do follow the meta and when you don't, so that you can make the better decision for yourself. So how much does it matter for casuals is the big question, and for that, to explain that, I need to explain how much it matters for tryhard guilds, because that's the easier way. So what happens is when you try hard the game a lot, at some point you try hard at most things that you can try hard. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you min-max your item level, if you min-max your skill, if you min-max your internet connection, your social skills, your whatever, mounts, no, not mounts, but at some point you run out of things that you can min-max that much, or you reach a certain soft cap, and at that point, if you don't min-max the meta, it's such a big int. It's just like being a really good player but having a shit internet connection. Like, it's just gonna suck. Or being a really good player, playing the right class, having the good internet connection, having the good social skills, but not farming the weekly M+ box. Like, you don't just do that. It's because it's at that point it's such a big int to do that. However, for a casual guild, a lot of those things that I counted, oftentimes they don't min-max all of those things. So what happens is, because of that, meta becomes a lot less important. Because let's say one guy is playing the meta class, but he's not doing his weekly boxes. He is, driving down the motivation of the team because of that and maybe other reasons. Or he has less eye level, or he has less skill, and usually skill is the argument, right? But it's not just skill, right? The game doesn't need just skill. If it was that simple, then there would be no point in competing for me. So what happens is a lot of casual guilds don't look at the big picture, but they only look at certain aspects. This guy has good eye level, but he has less skill. Well, there's so much more. Look at the full picture and make your decision based on that. And the other thing that I mentioned is, what happens if you don't follow the meta, and what happens if you do, right? So if you do follow the meta, your job is really, really easy. And that's why one of the reasons, why people do this, right? It's not just easy because this class is just really strong and your raid setup is going to be strong. No, he might actually be worse in skill, so maybe you even lose in strength of the raids, the raid setup or your M+ setup. But because you follow the meta, what you can do is you can copy paste. Like, you're literally copy pasting the strat. You don't have to have that thought process. You don't have to do almost anything. You just have to watch the video, and you need to just do the same things, press the same buttons, and the boss dies. And that gives it a big simplicity. If you do an M+ without a good setup, and with a good setup I mean a meta setup, you need to think about alternative ways to stun the mobs, or you don't have a DB, well, now you might need to use a mighty bash or a disoriented roar for it, or press another button. Whereas if you follow the meta, you can just completely copy paste. If you don't follow the meta, let's say on Slutris and you don't have any paladins, then you're gonna not have any bobs to break the chains and maybe sacrifice a person. Or you're not gonna have a Devo aura at some point where you need a damage reduction, but now that means you need to stack up for a barrier perhaps. And to stack up now you need a roar and spreading faster, because otherwise it's gonna be too big DPS loss. And such things like that change when you change the meta. You need to come up with your own creative strategy, and that's not that easy. That's why a lot of people don't want to do it, and they're kind of right, because even though it's a lot more fun, I can tell you, to come up with strats and be creative and solve these problems, in general, if you want to climb the world ranks, and it's very weird, but if you want to climb the world ranks, you want to be not very creative, because when you're creative, you're going to make mistakes, and it's going to take some time. You can count that as an investment to the future, perhaps, but in general, if you want short-term improvement, all you want to do is copy-paste the strats and go at it. Otherwise, if you don't be sad that you didn't climb the world ranks. So that's the two things, guys. First thing, casuals, a lot more other things to min-max. The second thing, if you don't take the meta, you got to be creative, which may be interesting and fun, but you're not going to climb the world ranks, and everybody in your guild should be aware of that and be okay with it. I mean, maybe you can climb, but it's gonna be less for sure. And you need to be a bit more creative. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure if you like the video to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Bye bye.